So I can say there will be three modules. Okay, so one is nothing but a Apex. Okay, Apex
Screen
A3.
is not there.
Okay, hold on. Let me
Yeah.
So okay, so one thing we'll call it as one module. We'll call it as Apex. Okay, Apex.
Okay.
So Apex is nothing but it is a background programming language where we are handling the actual business skills. Okay, let's say I want to create one account by using coding, or I want to send it out on email, or I want to put a trigger update, so on so on. Okay, so these kind of business logics things we are putting it in the Apex code. Okay, so I think you know Java, right?
Yeah, Java I know.
Yeah. Okay. So and also it is it is 99% very similar to Java. Okay. So
Okay.
it involves all the things like almost 99% is very similar to Java technology. Okay. So it includes classes, inheritance, all OOPS concept, methods,
Mm-hmm.
objects, so on, so on, so on. Okay, everything is similar to Java.
Mm-hmm.
And this is it is a background programming code. So if you come to a UI basis, if you come to a UI basis, so then VF we will call it as a Visual Force page. Okay.
Yeah.
So Visual Force page. So Visual Force page is nothing but it is just for building a UI. Okay. So it is a kind of tagging language. So you know about JSP, right? JSP, or if you take some other
Yes.
UI stuff. So we are just mentioning some tags. If you want to create a input text or something, so if you write some small tag,
Mm-hmm.
okay. So while runtime it is generating as a HTML.
Okay.
Okay, so Visual Force also same kind of like tagging like a script for the UI.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so and in the third module, if you come to a third module, it is called as a integration. Okay, so integration. So Salesforce supports basically two type of integration and REST and SOAP.
Rest
Okay,
and
SOAP.
okay.
Okay, so REST and SOAP. So these are REST and SOAP. Okay, so we'll discuss that one. Keep going. Okay, so REST is nothing but a URL basis, communication, where SOAP is nothing but, by using WSDL basic communication.
Okay.
Right? Okay, so these are the three modules I can say it in the Salesforce, which we are going for basically a customization.
Fine.
Fine? Okay, so now we'll move on to Apex. So we'll just discuss about some of the basic concept about Apex. Okay?
Yeah.
So, okay. So now, how to code in Salesforce? That is the second thing.
Yeah.
Okay, so how to code? So Salesforce we can write a codings in a three ways. Okay. So one is nothing but just click on setup.
Concept.
Okay, yeah. So just click on setup. Okay. So move on to development. Okay. So if you take any of the things, so all the standard objects and all the standard settings will be available in customize section. Correct?
Correct.
So customize section. If you want to create any kind of like custom object or like workflow and all, that will be available in create. Okay.
Yes.
So if you want to develop anything, then basically everything will be available in the develop section.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
everything it will be available in the develop section. So navigate to develop section. Okay. And here you can able to see Apex class. Correct. So here you can able to see Apex class. Just click on the Apex class. Okay. So then it will move to a this is a home page where we can able to see all the existing classes. I have already created some classes. Okay. So you can able to see all the existing classes for you. Okay. So if you want to create a new class, then basically just click on the new button. Fine. So just click on the new button. Okay. So this is a kind of editor. Okay. So it will open on editor. Okay. This is a kind of editor. Okay, where you can able to write all your codes over here. Right.
Okay.
Okay, so you can able to write the code over here. So now this is nothing but we are creating one simple class. Okay, so let's say public class hello world. Fine. So this will be a class, correct?
Yeah.
So this will be a class. So we can just say quick save. Okay, so it's just a simple class that has been saved. know, right? This is nothing but access,
Yeah.
modifier or let's say access specifier. Okay, so this is a keyword where it is saying the compiler like it is a class. You should treat this as a class. It is a class. Correct? Clear, right? Any question?
No.
No, right? Okay, so this is a one way of creating the class. So what is the second way? So second way is nothing but if you go here, okay, so if you go here, you can able to see a developer console, correct?
Yes.
Okay, just click on developer console. It is a kind of a client, like a small teeny client. Okay, so session will be maintained, so no need of login again. Okay, so it will open a small teeny client. Okay, where we can write a code over there. Let it load. Okay, so this is a developer console. So here you can able to move on to a section called file. So navigate to a file. Okay, so click on new. You can able to see classes, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so click on this new classes. Okay, so just give one class name. Let's say console class. Just save it out. So it is giving a by default it will giving a class structure. Okay, so if you go back to it will be synced. Okay, so it will go back and it will again open your Apple classes. See here dev console class. See here the dev console class, correct? So let's say I will do some modification over here. Let's say okay, just save. Save means just you can go here and you can save it up. Okay, or else you can press Ctrl S also. It is automatically saved. Okay, so once it is saved, if you just refresh this page, it is synced. I have added comment actually.
Yeah.
Okay, so on so on. You can able to open existing class also. Okay, so on we can able to do it up. Okay, so then and another thing is nothing but how to run the class actually. Let's say if I want to run a class, because this is not Eclipse to run or this is not a Java kind of things, right? So how to run this particular program for running and testing things? Basically we are using a developer console. Okay, so we'll discuss that one how to run. Okay, fine. So let me delete this one. Clear, right? Any question?
Yeah, here it is clear. So you will explain in detail what are the types, how we write and all that later.
Yeah, that is next step. Just I'm going from the video. Okay. So and third thing is nothing but Eclipse. Okay, Eclipse. Okay. So Eclipse. So right, we have to download the Eclipse and we have to install the post.com plugin for the Eclipse. Okay. So by using your credential, login name, password, and security token, basically you can able to download the metadata. Okay.
Okay.
So we can able to download the metadata.
So you install the Eclipse, then you download.
Yeah, so we have to download the post.com plugin. Okay, so we have to configure a post.com plugin for the Eclipse. Okay, so then we can download all the codes for that particular thing.
That's the URL, right? Okay. It's a URL.
Just plugin URL. Okay,
Internet URL.
Okay, so it is a tiny client. If you put this one, it is going to open these two plugins. Just click on next and finish it up. Okay.
No, this is not from any location, no? It is an online URL.
It's online.
Okay.
That should be.
So no need to
Installation. Okay, just go to file. Okay.
file, okay, new.
File. Go to new. Okay. So go to new. Once you install that particular plugin, so here you can able to see all these post.com stuff. Okay. Post.com. If you are not installed this plugin, basically you won't get this kind of thing. Okay. Right.
Yeah.
So then just hit on the post.com project. Okay, post.com project. Put some project name. Let's say I will say Dev. Okay. So once you hit on this particular thing, so basically we have to put our username and password. Okay, and
Salesforce.
Yeah, same thing. Security token. Okay. So hold on. Let me grab my password. Token in here. Security token. Okay.
So we'll get the email. That email,
Yes. You can able to see my Eclipse, right?
Yes, yes. How many? It's valid for throughout or how is it?
No, till your password changes. If you change the password, then security will open
Okay,
also.
okay. Yeah.
So that is the thing. Password this one. So here you just select production or dev environment. Okay.
So we can select that
not
also.
for
Okay.
the sandbox or pre so on so on. Okay. So because these are all the other environment like staging, testing, UAT, that kind of.
Mhm.
So clear, right?
But how do we know whatever we are doing with production or dev?
Based on the URL. Now we are doing with login.salesforce.com, right? That's a dev. Okay. So if you are going for a that is separate concept. We will discuss later.
Okay.
Okay. So for time being, just select production bar development. Okay. Just click on the next button.
Mhm.
Okay. So see here it is a fetching organization details. So it will fetch you all the details over here. Okay. So once that is done. Okay. So once it is done, so here it is asking there will be an option, okay, where you can able to download only Apex class, web page and so other things stuffs. Okay.
From that instance.
Yeah, correct. Or else there will be option, second option, where you can able to select all the things. Okay, all the things means you all each and everything from your org it will be downloaded. Okay, like object, standard object, custom object, workflow, escalation rule, okay, assignment rule. Okay, so everything it will be downloaded. Okay.
Right.
Okay, so so on so on. It will take some time.
Yeah. What is the version you said? Kepler? Eclipse Kepler?
Eclipse Kepler.
Kepler SR2.
Okay, so okay, let me see. Okay, so let it load. Okay, so it will take. Okay. Just hold on, it will load. It will load. So this is depends. Okay, some people will use Eclipse, some people will just write a code over there. It is also automatically synced. Okay, if you save it, just Control S or go to file and save. It is automatically synced.
Eclipse.org, right?
Yeah. Don't worry, I will share you the details.
Yeah, if you'll send me the link to download, I'll download today.
Yeah, you can download and okay. So for time being, I think it is failing. I will select only these 4 things. Okay, Apex classes, web page, and all. Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
So I don't know, some server will be down or something. It's taking too much. Okay, so it's downloaded. See here. Okay. So this one. Okay.
Yeah.
So settings, reference packages, source. Okay. Everything it will be available under source. See here, classes, pages. Pages is nothing but Visual Force pages. Okay. So these are nothing but the static resources. Static resources is nothing but, see, while building a Java application and all, if you are putting a property file or any image,
Yeah.
so on in some folder, right? Same thing.
Yeah, got
Okay.
it.
So here, especially in static resources, we are adding images, JavaScript library file, okay, CSS file, everything.
CSS file, okay.
CSS file, everything will be available in the static resources. Only those 3 things will be available in static resources. Okay, fine.
Yeah, CSS, image and the properties file.
Yeah. No, not property. Just CSS, JavaScript, and images. Just property file. Just I'm giving example.
Yeah,
Java
CSS,
here,
yeah, dot CSS, yeah.
Okay, so these are the things it will be available over here. Okay, this is nothing but a trigger. We'll discuss once you done with Apex. Okay, so this is, we'll call it as a package.xml. Okay, so I think right now no need of discussing about this. Okay, so we'll discuss once we reach the some stage. Okay,
Yeah.
fine. So what and all class? We have created 2 classes, right? More than 2 classes we have created. These are the existing class. So if you see here, my class is nothing but a hello world. See here, hello world. Correct?
Yes.
So these things will be available here also. Let's say if I say from Eclipse, I'm saving it. Okay, you just save the record. Okay, so you just save the record. Okay, it should be available in your here also. Sometimes control S will work, okay, sometimes control S will don't work. So in that case, better what you do, right? So just right click on this, okay. So just go to full.com. Sometimes control S will work actually. Sometimes control S it won't work. I don't know why. Sometimes it will problem. In that case, what you do, just right click on this particular file, okay. Just go to force.com, okay. Then just click on save to server,
Okay.
or deploy to server, anything, okay. Just deploy it. Okay, in deploying, this is the very headache. It keep on asking, you know. Got it, right? How to deploy? Just right
Yeah.
click. And now we're gonna always with login credential. Sorry. What is this credential? Okay. So just deploy it.
Yeah.
You can deploy it or just save to server. You can do it anyway. Here from Eclipse I'm saving it.
Yeah.
So RS deployment is also separate concept actually. From if you want to deploy from one box to another box, basically we are going for a deployment. Okay, so you can just directly go to save to server. That's it. Will save. Okay. Clear, right? You can go
Yes.
to save to server. Okay, so it will just go and save it up. Okay, so that is about a simple 3 ways of how to like like building the Apex class or whatever it is. Clear, right? Okay.
Yes.
So if you want to show other thing, then see here. So it will be everything. It will be available. Okay. So I haven't selected all things, right? Because some logout is happening. So if you select everything, so all the components here, see here, page layout, labels, objectives, okay, permission set, profiles, report type, dashboard, okay. So static resource tabs, okay, webflow, workflow. See, you can able to see, right? Okay, groups, okay, email things, dashboards, everything it will be available. Okay, clear?
Yeah.
So this is about the 3 way of basically developing the like writing the code. These are the 3 different places where we can write our Eclipse code. Okay, sorry, Apex code. Okay, either it's Apex or Visual Force page, or it may be a what you call trigger, or so on, so on. Okay, fine.
Yeah.
Hello. 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 So now we will discuss about what is mathematical class. So here, you know, right? So about variables and all. So Salesforce also there will be variables. There is a number of variables in there. Like if you want to describe it. So this is nothing but a data type, correct? Okay. So if you want to say my age. Okay, so these are the different variables that will be available here. Okay, so if you want to declare integer, then basically this will be a data type for the integer, correct? So if you want to describe a day, then this will be variable declaration, correct? So variable is one in which it will be hold a location where it will hold a temporary data. So this is the way of declaring the variable. There will be many is there data types like boolean will be there, date time stamp is there. Okay, so many things will be there. Okay, I will show you the documentation. Right? So once you're done with the class, what is a class actually? If you think about a class, so basically class is nothing but a container which is basically holding a variables, some kind of properties and set of methods, correct?
Yeah.
It is a container, so it will hold all those things. Okay, so clear, right?
Yes.
Okay. So now next step is nothing but what is nothing but a method, correct? So method is also a it will hold a piece of code and it will do some certain set of business logic, right? So it will do some set of business logic. Actually, inside the class we can't do any kind of business logic. So let's say if you want to say sum is equal to 10 plus 10 plus 20, we can't do like this. Okay, so it won't support. So basically we have to do all these kind of business logic in the method, correct?
Yeah.
Public void correct? So this is nothing but a one simple method, correct? So this is nothing but a one simple method. Okay, so let me say I will declare two variables. So num1 is equal to 100 and let's say num2 is equal to 200, correct? So now let's say I will calculate integer of sum is equal to num1 plus num2, correct? So this is nothing but just runtime I am binding the number 1 and number 2, correct? So this is we will call it as a method, correct? So this is a method actually. So method is what? So it will hold a set of business logic. It will be doing some business process, correct? Operations. Okay, clear, right? Yeah. So this one is nothing but a just we will call it as a method. So what is nothing but a public? Public is nothing but a access specifier. Okay. So what is a void? Void is nothing but return type. Correct? It is nothing but a return type. What we are returning back to the caller. Let's say some classes, some other classes calling this particular method. Then what the result we are going to send back? We are sending back as an integer.
Yes.
Correct? They are sending back as a, what is this actually? This is, we will call it as a method type. Okay, so this is nothing but a method type. Right? Okay. So this is done actually. So this is nothing but a simple definition of a class and a simple definition for a method. Correct? So now how to call this particular method? What is the use of calling this particular method?
Yes.
Right? And before moving to calling the method, so there is one concept called constructor. That is nothing but a constructor. Okay. So constructor name will be same as a class name, correct? So it will be named same as a class name. Actually, we are using constructor basically for initializing of some variables during creating a object. Correct?
Yeah.
So initializing of a variable during creation of object. Correct? See here, this one we will call it as a constructor. Okay. So now I have initialized number 1 and number 2 as a 120 here. Correct. So instead of initializing here, so I can directly initialize it within the constructor itself. Correct.
Yeah.
So within the constructor also we can initialize it out. Correct. So this is why constructor is really used. Okay. So this is why constructor is used. Okay. Clear, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so we can have n number of constructor. Okay, so it is having n number of constructor with different parameters. Okay, so this one we will call it as a overloading. It's a concept we will call it as a overloading. Correct?
Yeah.
So if you see here, you know, right, all these things and all. So just I'm brushing.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is we'll call it as a constructor over loading. What is nothing but overloading? So same constructor with different parameters. Okay. So this one we will call it as a constructor overloading. See, if you observe here, so here we have hard coded value. So here we is nothing but a runtime I am passing that particular values. Correct?
Yes.
Clear? And same like this is we will call it as a constructor overloading. Okay. So constructor overloading, correct? So constructor overloading is nothing but is having more than one constructor with a number of parameters are different. Either it may be a integer or integer, or it may be a string, or it may be a string integer. Okay, it should be a different signature, correct?
Yes.
Yeah. So same thing, constructor overloading. We can overload the method also. Okay, that one we will call it as a method overloading. Correct. So we will call it as a method overloading. Okay. See, name will be a same. Correct. So name will be a same. The parameter what we are passing is nothing but a different. Correct. So if you observe here now what we are doing is nothing but we are taking a num1 and num2 dynamically. Correct. So if you observe this method versus this method, so if you come to this method, we are just using the number1 and number2 from this particular variable. Correct.
Yes.
If you come to this method, basically we are using a runtime parameter. Correct. Clear? Any question?
Yeah. No.
Okay, so this one we will call it as basically overloading. Okay, so we will call it as a method overloading. Okay, so method overloading. So method overloading is nothing but a same kind of method name with different set of signature. Okay, fine. Okay, so if you want to print something, let's say in Java, if you want to print something, we are writing a system.println, right? Correct?
Yes.
Okay, so here basically we are writing system.debug. Okay, system.debug. Okay, so just if you want to print something as a debug log, then basically we have to use it for a system.debug. Clear? Any questions so far?
Put semicolon and
Yes.
got it.
Required.
What is difference between this constructor overloading and method overloading?
See, constructor overloading is nothing but here we can't write any business logic, correct? Constructor basically we can't write any business logic. Okay, correct. So we won't. Generally we won't write any business logic in constructor. Constructor is nothing but just for initializing some of the things, correct? So initializing some of the things. In the method actually, so we are writing a business logic. Let's say I want to send some email, or I want to calculate your bank balance, or I want to do some fund transfer activity over here. Everything it will be do it here. Let's say once you click on submit button, send an email. That one write it here actually. Okay, so constructor is invoked when creating a object. Okay, so what is nothing but an object? Let's say if I want to call this particular method from the other class or from the other method, basically we have to create an object for this particular class. Correct? So we have to create an object for this particular class. How to create an object? Okay, so creating the object is nothing but we are allocating the memory for these particular classes. Okay, so allocating the memory actually. Okay, so class will be saved in the place called some program heap. Okay, it is just a dummy. If you say it is like a just text file. Okay, So it won't allocate any memory in our processor. Okay, clear?
Yeah.
Okay, once you create a object, this is nothing but a creation of object. Okay, object is nothing but class name, variable name equal to new keyword is a class name again. So this is nothing but a creation of the object. Once you create the object, actually the object we are really going to allocate some memory in our processor. Clear? Any question?
Yeah.
Okay, so what it will happen, there will be a difference. So basically what it will happen, okay, when creating the object, by default it is invoking the class constructor. Okay, so while creating the object is there, right? So by default it will invoke the default constructor. What is the default constructor? So without argumented constructor is nothing but a default constructor. Okay, clear?
Yeah.
Okay, so it has been set num1 and num2 as 200 and 100, correct? So how to invoke that another constructor? If you want to invoke another constructor, basically we have to pass a parameter, correct? So I can say it is a 300 comma 5. In this case, actually we are invoking this particular constructor. Okay, so clear?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's say clear, right? Any question?
No.
Okay, so let me say. So once you invoke this one, basically it is going to invoke a default constructor. If you pass it as parameter, then basically it is going to invoke a parameter. Expecting right parameter code at line 15.
Num1 2 is given. Num2 is it.
Correct. So this is the way. So now you got it right. How to play, create a object and how it is actually
Apex class.
yeah, construct. Okay. So second thing, what is the use of creating the object? One thing is that, but if you want to access, okay, any of the property of this particular class, okay, what is nothing but a property? Property is either it is a variable or it is a method or whatever it may be. Okay, property it may be either it's a variable or it may be a method or Apex property will be there. Okay, we'll discuss that one later once you come into the V approach. Okay, so if you want to access anything, basically we have to create an object. Okay, object is nothing but we are allocating in there. What it will happen once you create an object? See, object is having all those things actually. These things it will be available within that object actually. Okay, within that object. Assume object is some kind of container which is holding all these things. Okay, so class is nothing but it is just for a blueprint. Okay, which is used while creating the object. That's it. Clear?
Yeah.
Okay, so now how to access this particular method? Let's say I want to access this particular method. How to do that? Okay, so for doing that, basically we need to create a object and we have to call this method name, object name dot this method name. Okay, clear?
Yeah.
Okay, so just run this particular program. Go to developer console. Okay, so go to developer console. Okay, just you can clear this log. Okay, here log is there, right? You can clear by go to clear and log. Okay, so just click this one. Open execute anonymous window. If you want to, what is called run any. This was just for testing, right? This is just for testing. How to do that? So for that, Salesforce is giving to an anonymous class where we can write a small code snippet and we can run it. Okay, that one we will call it as a anonymous class. Okay, so just check. set it down. Okay, so just set it down. Okay, so obj, correct? So obj dot this method name. We will call this a first method. Okay, so just call it as a first method. Okay, so just run the thing by saying execute. Okay, clear?
Yeah.
Okay, constructor is not visible actually. So if you are not giving any access specifier, by default it is a private. Okay, make it as a public. Okay, clear? Make it as a public access specifier for constructor.
Yeah.
Okay, so just read and see. It should print a 300 in the program. Okay, once you run this particular program, it is going to show all the logs, like including system log as well as our logs. Okay. Okay, just if you want to filter out only our log, just click on the debug only button. Okay, debug only button. See here, it is invoking a constructor first, right? Why? Because we are creating a object. Once you create the object, basically it will invoke a constructor, correct?
Yeah.
After that, it is invoking a method. See here, this is a first method, sum 300. Clear?
Yeah.
Okay. If you want to invoke another method, let's say if you want to invoke a second method, okay, so it will be described by runtime. Okay, if you want to invoke a second method, then basically pass a keyword, okay, here, correct?
Yeah.
So pass a keyword here because it is receiving num_x or num_x from the dynamic. And here, if you consider this one, it is taking num1, num2, where we are declaring within the constructor, right? So here we are taking it from the num1, num_x and num2. What is that? So these are the dynamic parameter we are passing while calling the method. Okay, not constructor, while calling the method. Just run this script. Here, right?
Yeah.
So just filter on this debug log, make sure our thing should be a 400.
Yeah.
Even though this case also, it is invoking the first constructor only.
Yes.
Why? Because while creating a constructor, we are not passing any parameter. So now, if you are passing a parameter for this particular constructor in runtime, say 200, 200, we'll check what it will happen. So it is going to call the second constructor. Okay?
Yeah.
So it is going to call a second constructor. Okay, and it is giving the summation as 400.
Yes.
Okay. So let me do one small magic. Clear, right? Any question?
No.
No, right? So this is a basic concept of how to create a class, how to write a method, what is a method overloading, what is a constructor, what is a constructor overloading, how to invoke a different constructor, okay, and how to invoke a different methods, how to create an object, and what are the access specifiers. Correct?
Yeah.
Clear, right? Okay. If you make it as a public, means anyone can accessible within this particular org, within this Salesforce org. Okay.
Yeah.
If you make it as a global, another thing is that we call it as a private. Okay. So private is nothing but we can make a method as a private. Okay. Not a class. Okay. We can't make a class as a private. Okay. Whereas we can make a inner class as a private. We can make a class as an inner class, right? Class within the class.
Yeah.
Correct? So this one we will call it as an inner class. Okay. So 111. Whereas we can make an inner class as a private. Okay. So we can make an inner class as a private, not for the parent class. Correct?
Yeah.
Okay, so you got it right. Another thing is nothing but a private, and another thing is nothing but a global. Global is nothing but during our web service things and all. So it is accessible from other of the world, right? Globally. Okay, irrespective of Salesforce or maybe from other Salesforce or maybe from some other language or platform, so on and so on. In that case, basically you have to make a class and method as a global.
So
Right?
you have to make both as global. So class as well
Yeah,
as
yeah.
method.
Yes, correct.
Private,
See, class
we
should be
cannot do
yeah,
it.
class. We can't make a class as a private because see, if you make a class as a private means Salesforce itself it couldn't able to access, right?
Yes.
It's a
Yeah.
private. So there is a doesn't
But we
mean
can make
impact. So
it
that's
global.
why we can make an inner class as a private. Okay, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Inner class is a private. Okay, so I will share you documentation.
Yeah.
Okay, don't worry about it. These are the basic things I'm explaining you. Clear, right?
Yes.
Okay, so this is nothing but a concept called method overloading, right? Method overloading. Okay, so method overloading basically we will call it as it is a one of the OOPS concept called polymorphism. Correct?
Yeah.
So polymorphism means morphism means some kind of business logic is doing. Poly means the same thing which is existing in the different forms. We will call it as a polymorphism. I assume here this is also we are doing calculation, but it is also we are doing calculation. The way we are doing is nothing but different. Correct?
Yeah.
That is nothing but a polymorphism. Okay. So method overloading is nothing but one of the implementation for a polymorphism. Another thing is called method overriding. Okay. So method overriding. Okay. Clear?
Yeah.
Method overriding. The main difference between method overloading and method overriding is nothing but method overloading we are doing it in the same class. Okay. Method overriding basically we are doing it in a different classes. Okay. So before doing a method overriding is possible only when the class is inherited with a parent class. Correct. So this concept we will call it as inheritance. Correct. Inheritance. What is nothing but inheritance? Inheritance means there will be one class will be there which is called as a child class. Okay, so the child class is basically extending the features and functionalities of the parent class.
Yeah.
Correct?
Yeah.
So this is we will call it as a inheritance. What it will happen once you inherit the parent class, basically all the variables, methods, everything it will be available in child class also. Let's say it is like a heredity. If I am owning some of the property, so it means like it is my son property also, right?
Yeah.
Correct?
Yeah.
So that everyone can able to access. This is something like that. So once we inherited this particular parent class, so this will be a parent and that will be a child. Okay, child can able to access all the properties of this particular parent class. Okay, either it is a variable or it is a method or whatever. Right?
Yeah.
Clear, right?
Yeah. So if you create a method in the inner class,
Yeah.
so if you call from the main object, so it will call the inner class or how is it?
Everything it will be available in the okay, if it is a private then basically it is not available. Okay. Okay, so if it is a public then basically it can able to access.
Yeah.
Okay. So now I will create one more class. Okay. So let's say public class. Okay, so child class. Okay, we have to inherit by using keyword called extends.
Yeah.
Okay, same thing Java. Okay, so we are using keyword called extends. Okay, so use that class. Allow it. Clear?
Yeah.
Okay, and another important thing, so if you want to inherit a particular class, so here basically we have to use one keyword called virtual. Okay, in the parent class basically we have to use one keyword called virtual. Then only we can able to inherit. Okay. Clear?
Yes.
Okay. So it is not like it's not like Java only. I don't know. They are introducing one keyword called virtual. Okay. Virtual. If the class is defined as a virtual, then only someone can able to inherit that particular class.
So whether all these are like what are available, what are the types, basic things. So is there any documented given by Salesforce? Apex?
Yeah, everything is a documented. So document is there. I will share you that document.
Yeah.
Okay. You are understanding, right?
Yes, yes, yeah.
Okay. If you want to inherit any class, make sure. If you want some class and you want to become a parent, make sure this virtual keyword should be there.
Yeah,
Okay. So then only he can able to, child class can able to extend to the parent class.
yeah.
Okay. So now, if I want to call this particular calculate method, what will happen? Correct. So if I want to calculate this particular calculation thing, so what will happen? Okay. So now, just instead of creating a hello world object, just create a child class object. Okay. So just create a child class object. Clear, right?
Yes.
Just create a child class object instead of creating a parent class object. So create a child class object. Calculate just calculation. See here. Okay, even though it is removed from the constructor, see here it is removed from the constructor. Correct?
Yes.
By default, this is we call it a constructor chaining. Okay, some concept is there we call it constructor chaining. Okay, so if you are creating the object from the child class, by default it is accessing the parent class, default constructor. Hence we call it as a constructor chaining. Okay.
Yeah.
Fine. If you want to access another parameter rising constructor, then basically we have to go for a with keyword called super. I was trying something right that like super somewhere I know. Okay, so if I want to, this is a constructor, right?
Yes.
This is a constructor. So by default, which one it is calling actually? So if you observe by default, by default it is calling a child class constructor. Okay, so child class constructor it is calling parent class constructor. Okay, so this is child class, right? Okay, so what it will happen, I will show you. These are the basic part of this. Okay, so now I will rerun it up. It will call a child class constructor, then later it will call a parent class constructor. That one we will call as a constructor child. See here. Okay, so it will call a parent class first. Okay, so it will call a parent class constructor first. Okay, so then it will call a child class constructor, and later it will call in the actual method. Clear?
Yes.
Clear? Okay. So now which one it is calling? By default constructor it is calling, right? If you want to call a parameterized constructor, so then basically we have to use a keyword called super. Okay, I want to call this constructor now. This is a parameterized constructor. Right? So if I want to call that particular thing, basically we have to use a keyword call super. Okay, so we have to use a keyword called super. By default we have to pass some value. Should be first. Okay, so what it will happen now? Now basically it will call the parameterized constructor. Right? So it is going to call a parameterized constructor. Clear, right? This concept we will call it as a constructor chaining. Okay. See here, constructor 2 is invoked. Correct? After that constructor, child class constructor is invoked. Then actual method is invoked. Correct?
Yeah.
Clear?
Yes, sir.
So, and second thing is nothing, but even though method is there, right? So it is having all the keywords, all the variables, all the methods of the parent class. Correct? If you want to write your own method in the child class, then basically you can write your own method. correct? You can write your own method. Let's say some calculate,
Mhm.
division or something. This is your own method. You can put own method. This method will include plus parent class all those things. Okay,
Yeah.
parent class property. This will be available. Okay, so this is the thing. Okay, even though we can able to override the parent class method. Okay, we
Mhm.
can able to override the parent class method. Okay, so this is we will call it as a overriding. Correct.
So
So
how
this
do we
is
call? Where we
yeah.
call and how do we call that
I will come
method?
to that point. Okay, so what it will happen? Okay, so okay, this is we will call as a overriding. Okay, if you save this, actually what it will happen? See, variable is not what is that? Okay, we'll remove this one. Okay, because we don't have any variable. These are nothing but local variables, right? So
Yeah,
it
yeah.
will be not available. Okay, variable is not visible. It is saying. So not visible means make sure we can make it as a public.
Yeah, it is. It's in the same class visible.
Okay, so same thing like class. So we are extending the class, right? If you want to override the method, basically for method also we have to use a virtual keyboard. Okay, so we have to use a method also for a virtual keyboard. Then only we can able to override the method.
Okay.
Okay, okay, clear?
Yeah.
Okay, here we have to use one keyword called override. Okay, so here we have to use one keyword called override. Okay, so then only we can basically we can able to override the correct.
Mm-hmm.
What it will happen if I create a object of child class and if you call the method, what it will happen? Basically, it is going to invoke this particular method. Okay, this particular method, not the parent
Yeah.
class, not the parent class method. Okay, if you are
So,
accessing other method, let's say second one, let's say this one, the parameterizer, then basically it is going to access this particular parent class method. Fine,
yeah.
clear? There is second one. What it will happen if you create a this object? You know, right? This straightforward. It is accessing the hello world class method only. Correct? So this
Yes.
one we will call it as a method
So
overriding.
if you create an object from hello world, object dot say calculation,
It is calling the hello world method. Means this method it is calling.
so it will call the inner class
No,
method.
where hello world. If you are calling from a hello world object, then the hello world object is called new hello world. Then if you call that, it is basically calling the hello world method. Okay. If you are calling it from the child class object, then basically it is going to call the child class method. Okay.
Okay, so we have to create an object of child class, then we call the already method.
Yeah, exactly. Clear?
Yeah.
Okay. So, I mean, can you give me one 10-minute break?
Yeah, yeah, sure.
Okay. So I will disconnect the call.
Yeah,
Just
yeah, sure. Just
be
call
in.
me back.
Yeah, just be in this one only.
Yes.
Webex.
Yeah, I'm
Just
doing it.
5 minutes. 5 minutes.
Okay, no problem.
ಗುರು ಈವ್ನಿಂಗ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಇಲ್ಲ ವಯಸ್ಸು ಏನ್ರಲ್ಲಿ ಇಟ್ಟೆ
ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಇಟ್ಟು
ಇದು Mm,
That's allowed.
correct, exactly. Okay, clear?
Yeah.
Okay, so now I want to create one account dynamically. Okay, so till now we are creating a account is by using UI,
Yeah.
correct? So just we are creating a account by using UI. We are just going over here, just click on a new button, correct? So just enter all the parameters, so on, and I am submitting the values, correct? Account name,
Mm-hmm.
whatever it may be. So this is a UI wise creating. So how to create a, all these accounts and all dynamically. Let's say, whenever how it is useful. Let's say I will write one customized via page where I am taking all the details and dynamically I have to write a code for creating a account name. In that case, we can't go for a this particular standard functionality, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Why? Because client is saying like I don't want this kind of look and feel for my account creation page. He's saying I want some look very good look and feel with that bootstrap and all. In that case, basically, we can't use our all those stuffs actually. Either it's a saving or it is all those stuff. Basically, in that case, we have to build a UI and we have to write a controller custom logic to create a account. Correct?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Right? How to do that? In that case, basically, we have to create a class, and we have to create a method, and we have to write a code for creating the accounts dynamically.
Mm-hmm.
Correct? So that's how I am going to do it now, right
Yeah.
now. Okay. So create one method. Right? How to create a method. Okay, so what is a how to create access this particular account? If you just go and click on a field is okay, just click on this particular field is all the account fields will be available here. Okay, okay, so this is nothing but a label. These are nothing but a labels, right? Okay, so if you come over here, these are nothing but a labels. Here account name. If you want to use a programmatically, if you want to access this field programmatically, or if you want to write something for this field, basically you have to use a this is it field name. Or if it is in the custom field, then basically we will call it a API name. By default, we will call it as a API name. Make sure we have to
Yeah.
use a API name we have to use. Okay. Same like this is for the API name for the fields. What is the API name for a object? This is nothing but a API name for a object. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Account. Use this one. Account is nothing. Use this one. Account is nothing but just creating a object. Same like it will come as a object concept. Okay. Like this. Correct.
Okay.
So this object is holding all this property. These are nothing but a object's property. Correct.
Mm-hmm.
It is kind of property for that particular object. If you want to set a name, this is a name, right? Okay. So how to set a value? Just object name act dot name. Correct. So I can say Amit from Apex. Okay. Account name is nothing but like this. Correct. Programmatically.
Yeah.
Okay. So just make sure we have to use all the required field here. See what and all required field is there, right? Make sure we have to use all the required field, or else it is throwing the errors. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Now we have set the value for this particular account name. Then basically how to insert this particular thing. Insert is nothing but we have to use a called keyword insert. Okay. It is nothing but a DMN operation.
Okay.
Okay.
But how do we know which are required or now?
You just go to page layout or just check it off. That's how we have to do it.
But page layout it will be different for different people. So which is
See, that is correct. So the required field it will be available only in page layout. You can able to see it in the page layout. Okay, so here it won't show actually, which is a required field. It won't show basically. Okay, clear?
Yeah.
It will page layout, the way of rendering the number of fields we are showing it as a page layout is different, right? The default page layout will be there, right? For each object there will be one default page layout is there. That one you will call it as a standardized page layout. Let's say if you go to account, correct, if you go to customize and if you go to accounts and if you go to page layout. Okay, there will be on default page layout is there. This is nothing but a default page layout. Here we can able to see what and all things are belongs to required field, so on so on. Clear?
Yeah.
Clear, right?
Yes, clear.
Okay, so now if you say insert, basically it is going to insert a particular object. Okay, once you insert this particular record, what it will happen? It is going to generate one runtime ID. Correct?
Yeah, the account ID.
Yeah. So it will be a ID. What is this ID actually? ID will be nothing but this is a unique identification ID. It is I can say it is a kind of sequence. Correct? It's a kind of sequence. It is generated. See here, let's see if I open this one particular thing. Basically, see this ID. Correct? So this ID it will be it will be generated. Whether it is we are creating from UI or if you are creating from coding or whatever it may be. This is a unique digit ID. It's a 15 digit ID. Okay. So it will be a 15 digit ID. See here, the length is nothing but a 15. Okay, it will be 15. See here, 15.
Yes.
Okay, so 15 digit ID will be available. Okay, so there will be 3 ID, 15 digit, and there will be 18 digit. We'll discuss this 18 digit later.
Okay.
Okay, for each object, it will start from some keyword. Okay, okay, if it's an account, okay, I will just show you. Hold on. Salesforce, some algorithm. Okay, so 15 to 18 digit. This is a 15, right? Okay, so if you see here, AOO it is adding. Okay.
Page is still loading.
Loading?
Yeah, I can see just the Google page. It is taking time. It's not refreshing. The page is stuck. Yeah, now
We can
unload
able to know.
Salesforce ID from 15 to 18 digit.
Correct. So, yeah, so it is depends on the object to object. Okay, let's say if it is a account, if ID belongs to account, then basically it is going to add a AAO. Okay. If it is a contact, okay. So if it is a contact, that is my. Let me open one contact. Let's say it's a contact, right? If it is a contact, it is going to add some other thing. Okay, so let me say. See here, if it is a contact, it is adding AAU, correct? Say if it is an account AAO, if it is a contact AAU, correct? If it is an opportunity, so it is going to add some other thing. Okay, so on, so on. Clear, right? Let's say two different IDs. Let's say we'll take one. So it's a curve. Okay, so opportunity is going to add CAAU. Correct?
So this is nothing but the ID which is written in 18 digit ID. Yeah?
Correct, yeah. Some places by default Salesforce is using 18 digit and some places they are using 15 digit. Okay, nothing to worry about that. Clear? So okay, so now once you've done this particular thing, okay, just save the record. It will create an account for you. Correct? So clear, right? So insert.
We have to call this, right?
Yeah, we have to call it up. Now same thing. Create an object of this particular thing and just call it up. Just a method, right? Simple method.
Yeah.
Okay, the business logic which we use it is a different. Correct?
Yeah. So this is just for testing those classes.
Yeah, correct. See, now we don't have any VF page, right? How to execute those methods and see here.
But this will not be real time, right? Real time will be different.
Yeah, real time same thing. Just we have to map it. That's it.
Mm.
Just now I am not showing any UI concept. I am just explaining about only business law. Correct.
So
Now
standalone
let's say
can run this program. And
yeah, I
then
will ask you. Yeah, I will give one business law. Let's say we are having a set of accounts in this app CRM. Okay. Okay, SAP. Okay, so there will be a Salesforce integration will be there. We are pushing the or pulling the record from this app, and we need to make sure real time we have to create an account in the Salesforce. How to do that? So Salesforce services make sure has to call this kind of one method, correct? So it will run time. So whenever account is created in this app, they has to trigger one like web service call for the Salesforce, so that it will invoke this method and it will create an account. There is nothing but a real time, right?
Yeah.
Correct. So real time is nothing. So according to a business logic, we have to write a code snippet. That's it. Either it's account creation, or sending an email, or deleting account, or updating account, so on, so on, so on. That's it.
Yes.
Okay. So just click on this particular, like ID and just search it in the Salesforce. Okay. So let me say where here I am putting this ID, and just let me say this one should be created. See here, meet from Apex. Correct.
Yes.
So this is a way. This is a way for creating a account programmatically. Correct. So what it will happen? We created an account. What about mapping for a contact, opportunity, and other related lists? Correct. So same way we can set it for all other field also, right? According to whether it's a string or date or number field, we have to make sure set the property like that. Okay. Clear. So what it will happen if you want to create a contact? Correct. So what is the way of creating the contact? If you say if it is a contact, so the account and contacts are linked together by using one ID. Correct. So lookup. Correct.
Yeah. Means primary.
Yeah. So it's a lookup, or it's a master detail relationship, or it is a lookup relationship. So it is it is a tagged with this particular account based on this particular field, right? Correct. So what we have to do is nothing but once you create the account, we have to create a contact also. Correct. So how it is tagged actually? See here, this is a lookup account based on this field. It is tagged. Okay. So nothing. We have to do it same thing actually. We have to use this particular account and we have to tag it up also. Okay. So how to do that? So now once you create with the account inserting, just create a contact also. Correct? Okay. Con dot set all the fields. What and all fields is available for the contact. Let's say basically we have to use a first name and last name. Okay. So which will become a name. First name. Okay. So sorry. First name will be my name. Okay. So one. Okay. So let's say last. It's a case insensitive. Okay, you can write it anything. Okay. Yeah, it doesn't matter about either uppercase or lowercase. Okay. What it will happen now? Look up account, right? Just add account. Okay. Just append with ID. Okay. Equal to add this ID. Clear? Insert. Clear?
You have to change the name or again it will create the same account
It will create. It will create a other account actually.
The ID itself is unique, right? It's even the account name is not unique.
Sorry.
Account name is not unique. So
No, we can make it up. Which one? That one we'll discuss later. If you remember, in data loader we are using a concept called upsert, right?
yes,
Upsert.
yes.
If it is there, it will update. We can make it up. We'll discuss that one later. For time being, we can. If I can make it up, same thing only because I have ID, right? Okay, I can update it for the same field. What I have to do is nothing but instead
So you can use directly the ID.
yeah, account dot, okay, so id is equal to this one. Okay, instead of doing a insert, make it as update, upsert or update, whatever it may be. Okay. What is this actually? Clear? What it will happen now? So it will go and updating our existing account itself. Clear, right?
Yes.
Uh, it is contact has been created for that particular account and it is tagged, correct? So there's the reason. See here, it's a old thing, right? So we don't have contact now, so you can able to see, right? No contacts.
Yes.
If we refresh the screen, see, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, it has been tagged. See, same thing has been updated now. If you say insert, it will upsert. Upsert means what we have to do, you know. So if you want to make it upsert, we can make it up. So what we have to do, so upsert, okay. So we have to say it based on which field you want to upsert it up. Okay, based on which field you want to upsert it up. Okay, so based on which field you want to upsert. So in that case, we can basically upsert. Let's say I will put another thing called account number. Okay, so app dot account number. Okay, 1 2 3 4. This is account number is a number field. Account number is a text field. Okay. What is happening? Expect a right by pound current line 8. Oh, sorry, it is a text. It's a string actually.
Okay. Now it will create a new account, right?
No, it will update the existing one.
Where is the okay? You're based on name you're saying. Correct. Okay.
So why it is showing?
Again, it is asking from
Expecting a rate parenthesis and
plus name, right? Plus name.
sorry.
Account name. You're just giving the name there.
Yeah, here I'm setting the name. This is second parameter.
Yeah, but here you are giving directly name. So you are taking the existing dot name in the upsert.
No, it's like that only. Okay, I'll check that one. Something is missing. Something. Okay, clear, right? So we will discuss this one later. It's a detailed topic is that. So based on the field, what you are mentioning, right? Same thing in data loader also you are mentioning same thing. Based on which one, email or name, how you want to, upsert it up, correct? So this is how we can make a upsert for the existing thing. Clear? Okay, fine, right?
Yeah, fine.
Yeah, these are nothing but basic concept regarding these three things. Okay, so how to create we can create, okay, and another thing. These are nothing but a standard field, right? If it is a custom field, then make sure this will be API. Okay, so custom field, custom field will be identified by underscore C. Okay, underscore C. We have to use this one.
It's not case sensitive, right?
No, case. It is not a case. It is a case insensitive. Make sure it should be a underscore C. Okay. Okay. And another thing, if it is a custom object, same thing. API name will be also different. Okay, same thing, it will become as underscore underscore C. Okay, department is a custom object. See here,
How do you see the this one name? Custom
just
object name.
just go to department, open any one of the record, just click a view fields, or just move into navigate. Navigate, go there, custom object, select object, click on the object.
Mm-hmm.
So let me open show you how we
This
are
is
creating a
a
new,
custom object it is saying, right?
yeah, how we are just going to a creating new object. Go to create, click on
Mm-hmm.
object, correct. So select a department, correct. So I will open it up.
Okay, department underscore C.
Okay.
Underscore underscore.
Yeah, okay. We
So
can
that
give
is the
any,
object name.
yeah, we can give, don't refer the label name. We can give it any name for a label. Make sure you have to copy API name.
API
Okay.
name. So
See,
if
yeah.
I need something from the custom object department, say department underscore C dot
Particular
what
field.
particular field. Okay.
Okay, fine. So this is a short way to go field. Okay, quickly we can move a field. How you know? Just open, go click on department. Okay, click on department. Just navigate to any one of the field. Okay, record. See here one hover is there. See here, collapsible.
Yes, yes.
Okay,
What is that called?
collapsible section.
Okay. So it
Collapsible.
will be available on the object, right? Or anywhere?
Yeah, no, only for object. Okay, see here we can quickly we can move view object view.
Have to
View,
enable it.
yeah, it will be enabled. You know, while discussing, I have told you in UI interface.
Mhm.
Enable hover link is there, right? That one you have to
Oh,
enable it.
okay.
Now. Okay, so clear, right? So basic
Yeah.
just try to do some of the like just hands on. So that